fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the UNSC checkpoint with Spartan Gungar and Elite Mercenary from the World of Halo line from Wicked Cool Toys. I just kind of randomly found this at my local Walmart, and I just thought it looked really neat. It's kind of a mini playset. It's got kind of like a weapons cache and a gun turret, and just kind of like a couple things to set up like a little, outpost kind of a deal. And it comes with 2 figures here, which I thought was really neat. It also says it has 10 of the base terrain pieces. So we'll see how that works out as well. But I just thought it looked like kind of a neat set. And I haven't been buying a ton of the Halo stuff recently just because it's been a lot of kind of repeat stuff, the same Covenant aliens and so many Master Chief releases. It's just ridiculous. So I've kind of it's fallen a little bit off my radar. But since I just happened to randomly find this, I thought it looked so neat. I decided to jump back in and give this one a look. So box is still pretty basic. They aren't really doing much in terms of the design, but I will say they finally gotten to the point where they do put other figures that are available on the back instead of that same picture of Master Chief, so I do applaud them for that. So you can see we have some individual figures here. Spartan Ed and Spartan Cavallino I definitely want to check out because I'm always about finding new Spartans with different color schemes and kind of building out a team. I think that's going to be really fun. We have a Jackal Raider over here that looks pretty cool. We have Hyperius, and then Elite Mercenary, which is probably not very different from the one that's in this pack, just maybe a different color scheme. Another Master Chief, because I'm sure they're going to put one of him in every wave. That just makes sense. And then you have some 2-packs over here, Master Chief and Tovaris, and then a Marine and a Jackal Raider. So just some more ways to get figures out there. But yeah, a lot of these look really cool, and I mean, they do a really nice job with these figures. All the previous Halo figures that I've gotten, I've been really impressed with. And they're 4-inch scale, so they fit with most of the stuff that I collect, which is really cool. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here's everything you get in the box. It says it has 28 pieces in total. It's honestly a very nice set. You get a lot of great stuff here. We'll start first with the 2 figures. So we have the Spartan Gungar. He's a really nice shade of blue. And for a 4-inch figure, this has a ton of articulation. The head is on a swivel and hinge, so it can look down pretty far. Can't really look up all that much, but then it can also swivel side to side. You have a nice hinge and a rotation in the shoulder. You have a hinge and a rotation in the elbow as well. And then you also have a hinge and a rotation in the wrist. So this has a horizontal hinge and then of course a rotation as well. You have kind of a ball joint here in the torso, you can see. You got a lot of nice range of motion there. The hip can kind of kick out to the side, kick front. Can't kick that far back because he does kind of have a butt flap. But you have double jointed knees, as you can see. You do have a thigh swivel as well. It's a little minimal, but it is there. And then you have a hinge and a rocker in the ankle. So really nice articulation. He looks great. Really a lot of molded in detail as well. Really, really looks sharp. So he's got peg holes in his feet, so you can peg onto these little base areas. We also have an Elite Covenant soldier. I really love the shade of purple they gave him. You can see he comes with a needler as well, which looks really sharp. I like the translucent plastic here for the top of it. Really nicely done. He's got a ton of articulation. He's also got a hinge in the neck here. You can also swivel the head side to side. He's got a hinge and a rotation in the shoulder. He's got a hinge and a rotation in the elbow. And then he's also got, does he have, yeah, he has horizontal wrists as well as a rotation. And then he's got something similar in his torso, so you can move all around like that. The hips on mine are a little loose. I don't know if that's all of them, but you can see you got a hinge and a swivel here in the hips. You also have a hinge and a rotation in the knee, but he's got like he's got 2 knees kind of, so that you can kind of bend it like that. So he's got kind of a first knee and a second knee. They both have a hinge and a rotation. And then he's also got the hinge and the side to side in the ankle. So a lot of nice articulation for him as well. He looks very cool. And before we get into all the accessories, I do want to take a minute and talk about these base pieces. If you remember any of the previous reviews I did, the biggest problem I had with them is I could not achieve this. These have been modified. I was very excited to learn this because it was kind of funny. As I was opening the box, I was like, wouldn't it be nice if they had gone back and fixed these? And they actually had. So I was pleasantly surprised. And just to show you what I mean, these are the old ones that used to come with kind of the first releases. And the way they worked, you can see how it kind of has the cutout underneath and then the piece that sticks out. So you can put them, you would kind of have to put them like this and then twist them, and they interlocked very well, but it prevented you from honeycombing them. So you couldn't make like a full base, because the way they work, you can't get another one in this way because you don't have the clearance to kind of like insert it and twist it into two of them. It works for singles, and you could do a straight line or maybe like, you know, different directions, but you couldn't put one here. And they've gone back and modified these. So now if you see, if I take a couple of these apart, I'll just take 3 off so I can show you. Now they just slide straight in from the top. So you don't have to kind of put them in and twist them anymore, because this part's not covered. So if you take a look at these directly, you can see how the cutout is visible from the top, whereas here it was straight across and the cutout was only underneath. So you can actually work these with the old ones. You can actually use these together, but the problem is you wouldn't be able to. So like say for example, I could put 2 of the old ones, but then any third one you'd use would have to be one of the newer ones so that it could just slide in. And even actually this won't work because the piece here, I would need to drop this straight in from the top, and I can't do that because now I'm running into that same issue where I can't get both of these. I guess I could I put them in from the bottom? Okay, I could put them in from the bottom, and it would work that way. So it's kind of nice because it doesn't make all your old pieces completely obsolete, but it does make it so that you could use 2 old ones, but then the third one would have to be one of the new ones, so you could bring it in from the bottom and link them together that way, because you can't do that with the old ones. I'm just really happy they went back and revisited this. I wonder if they got some feedback that it was kind of impossible with the old ones to honeycomb them, because that's honestly the best part of these. When you get a bunch of these, you want to build a battlefield, because then you have a consistent honeycombed battlefield, and they have all these pegs, so you could really set up a full battle scene by pegging in a bunch of figures, and that's really neat, and that's what I was really hoping to do with the old pieces. So I'm very, very, very happy that they went back and revisited this, and the fact that I can actually make it work with the older ones too and kind of still build it out is really nice. So these don't go to waste. You just kind of have to get a little bit creative and kind of use one of the newer ones for every third one, and it might get a little difficult, but you could probably make most of these work depending on how you get it to go. So I'm very happy about that and very excited that I can actually build a full battle scene with these now. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other accessories here. We have these 2 canisters over here on the left. I'm not 100% sure what they are. I have seen them in game, but I still don't really know what they are. They might be fuel cells or something like that. But they're very cool. I like you have a blue one here, you have a yellow one. They look different. So they're just some fun accessories to include. We'll put them off to the side. I really like the force field here. I mean, it's really just a translucent piece of plastic, but I think it's well done. This piece can come off if you would prefer it, but it just pops right back on there. I think it's pretty effective. I think it works well. I really like the look of that. We have a rocket launcher here, which is pretty nicely detailed and painted. And all of the weapons have this peg on the side here, because all of the Spartans have a peg hole in the back, so you can go ahead and mount this on the back if you'd like, which I think looks pretty cool. This one's a little high up on the back, but still works really well. I like that a lot. You also have this large sniper rifle here, which has the 2 supports. These can kind of tuck up underneath. Mine are a little messed up from being in the packaging, and they keep popping out of the peg hole, so I have to play with these a little bit, but still pretty good looking sniper rifle. There again has the peg on the side, so you can peg it onto the back if you wish. This one sits a little bit lower, so that's pretty cool. So put that off to the side. We have a turret here, which can rotate, and it's got 2 spots here on the back for him to grab onto. You can see the hands can just kind of clip on there. So I think that's pretty cool, and that scales well, I think. So I really like this turret a lot. I think that looks pretty cool. Really nicely detailed, very nicely painted. It comes as 2 separate pieces in the box. You just pop it right on there, and then it can rotate. So that's pretty cool. You get 2 of these large shipping crates for storing all of their accessories. There's nothing really to these. They have these little connectors on the side here. You can see that the plastic is just kind of meant to hinge up there, and they just peg into the sides. There's really nothing to them. You can put whatever will fit. Maybe you could put these little things in there, something like that. And then you just pop this back on top, and then they clip into place. It's a little difficult to get them to clip in sometimes because it's kind of a thinner plastic, so it doesn't really hold up when you're trying to push something into it. It kind of just wants to get pushed along with it. but you can eventually get these to pop in here. I swear I've done it before. Alright, it's really not cooperating right now, but I swear it can be done. So I'll just put this on here for now. I don't have to pop it closed. But you get two of these. They are kind of stackable. You can see how there's kind of an indent on the bottom, and they just kind of rest on top. Or you don't have to. You can put them side by side, whatever you prefer. So maybe I'll leave this one open. And then you get this weapons rack, which I think looks really cool. You can see you get 5 different weapons here. I'll go ahead and remove these. We'll take a look at each one. I'm not really sure what every kind of weapon these are. This looks like some kind of canister gun, maybe? I'm not really sure. I don't know. But again, they all have the pegs. And the pegs on the side now serve 2 purposes, because they can peg into the back of the Spartan's armor, or that's how you attach them to the weapon rack. So you can see you have all these spots here. You just peg this into one of these peg spots, and then that's how you can store the weapon here in the weapons rack. So I can just peg that in there. And it actually works on both sides. So if you have weapons from previous releases, you can go ahead and peg them in as well. And it's just a simple little thing, but it's pretty nicely detailed. I think they did a good job. It feels very sturdy. It's a very nice, solid piece of plastic. Let's continue on looking at these. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to kind of come around to the back and push the peg through to get these off of here. Let's see what we have here. We have one of these, which I apologize, I don't know all the different gun names, but... And they just peg right back in. This one's very tight. This one does not like to come out easily. There we go. And then I think this one is the assault rifle, but I could be wrong. I think that is. And then the last one is this scoped rifle. So really cool, a lot of great accessories. I love how this weapon rack looks, and it's very simple and it works really well. And it just uses like an accessory gimmick that they already had because they were wanting it to be back mounted, and just employed that to get them to peg into this, and it's so simple. And just to prove, we'll take like this one out and come around to one that already has a weapon pegged in from the other side. And come around here, and then you just kind of have to find where it will fit, and then you can peg it in, and that way you can have one on both sides. So pretty cool. You can hold up to 10 weapons. I really like this a lot. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, all these accessories are really great, and I think it's a pretty fantastic set. I think this is a pretty fantastic little set. It comes with a couple little playset pieces, so you can build yourself a little outpost here, or if you build your own displays, you could use these pieces to augment them. I think the weapons rack is really great, nicely detailed, really solid piece of plastic. Can hold up to 10 weapons, which I think really works. The crates are on the cheaper side, but you know, they're just kind of basic little crates. If you have some smaller accessories you're worried about losing, you can go ahead and toss them in there. I think the simple translucent piece of plastic really works for the force field. I think that's really cool. The gun turret looks great, and I really appreciate that they went back and fixed these. They must have gotten some feedback that the other ones don't really work to produce this honeycombing effect, because that's what I really wanted. I wanted to be able to kind of build a solid, you know, conjoined piece of battlefield so that I could set up the figures and peg them all into these cool little pegs and, you know, make up a whole little battle scene and everything like that, and that can actually happen now. And you can still actually go back and use the older pieces with the newer ones, and it's not like you have to throw those away or just be limited with those. You can kind of make everything work now, and I think that's really cool, so I'm very appreciative of that. But honestly, like I said, I just think it's a great set. The 2 figures are really fun. They have great paint applications, great articulation, really nice molded detail. The figures for this line have always been solid, and I think the price of this set was only somewhere between $25 and $30, and when the figures are usually around $8 to $10 themselves, getting everything else in this set for $5 to $10, I think is a steal, honestly. I think this set is really worth the price. You get a lot of great stuff to work with here and 2 excellent figures. I definitely recommend picking it up. I honestly can't recommend it enough. Even if you haven't really bought much of the Halo stuff before now, I think this is a nice, fun way to kind of jump into the line. You get 2 great figures, 1 from each faction, and a ton of really great accessories. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.